Welcome everyone to the English Prep Podcast.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into something that, well, let's be honest, can be really tough for English learners.
Listening comprehension.
Exactly. It's more than just, hearing the sounds. It's about really getting the meaning, picking out details, figuring out the speaker's tone, maybe even their attitude.
And often under pressure, right? Like in exams.
Precisely. So it's not just about hearing words, it's this complex skill. You need to grasp the meaning, specific bits of info, the speaker's vibe.
Often with the clock ticking.
Yeah. So today, we're going to really unpack this. We want to look at why listening is so critical for exams, think IELTS, TOEFL, PT.
All the big ones.
And share some, practical proven ways you can get better at understanding spoken English. Hopefully boosting your confidence, not just for tests, but, everyday life too.
Absolutely. Because it's easy to focus just on grammar or vocab, but listening, that's often the key to really communicating effectively. And yeah, nailing those exams.
It's dynamic, isn't it? It really demands your full attention.
It really does.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Why is listening such a big deal in these exams? And what are the typical things learners get stuck on?
Well, if you look at exams like IELTS or TOEFL, they're specifically designed to test how well you understand spoken English in different situations.
Right, like you might hear casual chats, university lectures, maybe public announcements.
Exactly, a whole range.
Yeah.
And it's not just about catching the main topic.
No, it's deeper. You need to identify the speaker's main goal, the key arguments they're making.
Pinpoint specific details, names, dates, numbers, and sometimes figure out what they mean without saying it directly. The implied stuff.
That implied meaning part, that can be tricky. It's like reading between the lines, but with your ears.
Precisely. And that mirrors real life, doesn't it? Think about a work meeting or even just watching the news. You're constantly processing not just the words, but the intent behind them.
So true. So what are some of the common hurdles? What trips people up most often in the listening sections?
Well, one big one is just distraction. It's easy for your mind to wander, or maybe there's some noise, and poof, you've missed the answer.
Yeah, happens to the best of us. What else?
Unfamiliar accents are a major challenge for many. If you've mostly heard, say, American English, then suddenly hearing a strong British or Australian accent in the exam.
Oof, yeah, that can throw you off completely. Feels like your brain has to suddenly switch gears.
It does. It adds this extra layer of processing. Another tricky bit is words that sound alike. Homophones or near homophones.
Like here and here, or there. Under pressure, that must be really tough.
Absolutely. Your brain has to work extra fast to figure out the meaning from the context. It's not just hearing the sound, it's rapid interpretation.
Makes sense.
And then there's the very practical issue, especially in exams running out of time, particularly that moment when you have to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
Right, that pressure can lead to mistakes.
It can. But the good news is all these things, distractions, accents, tricky words, time pressure, they're challenges you can overcome. With the right strategies, definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about those strategies. If just hearing isn't enough, how do we get to understanding? You mentioned active listening earlier. What's the difference between that and just having English on in the background?
That's a great question. Passive listening, like having music or a podcast on while you do other things, it does help. It gets your ear used to the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation of English. It builds familiarity.
Okay, so it's not useless then?
Not at all. But for really deep comprehension, the kind you need in an exam or a complex conversation, you need active listening. That means you're deliberately engaging your brain. You're focused, you're trying to understand, analyze, remember.
So you're an active participant, not just a receiver. How do we actually do that? What are some practical habits for active listening?
There are several key things. First, try to predict before you listen. Look at the questions for the listening task. What kind of information are they asking for? A number, a name, a reason.
So you're priming your brain, getting it ready for what to expect.
Exactly. It helps you focus your attention. Second, summarize after you listen. Just quickly, in your own words, what was the main point? What were the key details?
And if you can't summarize it,
then that's a clear sign you didn't fully grasp it. It shows you where you need to maybe listen again or focus more next time.
that makes sense. It's like an instant comprehension check. What else?
Taking quick notes is crucial. Not full sentences, obviously, just key words.
Like names, numbers, main ideas.
Yes, anything that seems important or gets repeated. And crucially, listen out for paraphrasing. Exams almost never use the exact same words in the audio and the questions.
Right. They'll use synonyms or rephrase the idea. So you need to recognize large or significant, even if the speaker said big.
Precisely. You're listening for the meaning, not just matching identical words. That's a really important skill to train.
Definitely a higher level skill.
Yeah.
And speaking of training, let's go back to accents. You mentioned they're a hurdle. How important is it to get exposure to different ones?
Oh, it's huge, especially for international exams. You're almost guaranteed to hear a mix British, American, Australian, maybe Canadian or others. Relying only on the accent you're most used to is a real disadvantage.
So you need to be adaptable.
You do. Think about it. English is a global language. Being comfortable with different accents isn't just for exams. It's a vital, real-world skill, too.
Okay, so how can listeners practically get this exposure? What kind of resources work well?
Variety is key. For, say, more formal British English, like you might get an IELTS, listen to news clips, BBC News, Sky News, that sort of thing.
Okay.
For American English, maybe more relevant for TOEFL, try listening to American podcasts, maybe lectures from U.S. universities available online.
Good idea.
And for maybe faster, more informal styles, check out YouTube channels from Australia or New Zealand. It gets you used to different paces and colloquialisms.
So mix it up, basically. Don't just stick to one source.
Exactly. The more varied your input, the better your brain gets at tuning in to different ways of speaking.
That's really practical advice. Now, moving beyond accents, what about the type of material? Textbooks often have very clear, maybe slightly unnatural audio, right?
They often do. It's usually scripted, perfectly enunciated, which isn't how people normally speak. Real-life spoken English is messier.
How so?
Well, people hesitate. They say, They interrupt each other. They use slang or idioms. They don't always finish their sentences. Textbooks tend to smooth all that out.
So if you only practice with perfect audio, you might be unprepared for the real thing.
It's definitely a risk. You need exposure to authentic language, the way it's actually spoken.
Okay, so where can we find good, authentic materials?
Podcasts are fantastic, especially on topics you're actually interested in that keeps you motivated.
Good point.
TED Talks are great for more structured, sort of academic-style presentations. YouTube is a goldmine. Interviews, discussions, vlogs. You get lots of natural conversation.
And audiobooks.
Audiobooks are excellent too, especially for hearing clear narration over longer periods, which builds stamina. The key is variety, again, and also varying the difficulty. Start with easier stuff, then challenge yourself with faster, more complex audio as you improve.
Right. Gradually increase the challenge. Now let's talk tech. How can tools help us practice smarter, not just harder?
Technology can be a huge help if used wisely. Think about playback speed controls on many players or apps.
Yeah. You can slow things down.
Exactly. Listen at normal speed first. Then, if you miss something, slow it down to catch the details. Then try again at normal speed. It really helps dissect tricky parts.
That's clever. What about transcripts and subtitles? Helpful or harmful?
They can be very helpful, but timing is key. Use transcripts after you've listened and tried your best to understand. Then you can check what you missed.
So don't read along the first time.
Ideally, no. You want to train your ears first. Same with subtitles. Use English subtitles sparingly. Try without them first, then maybe switch them on to confirm things or catch new words. Relying on them too much can actually hinder your listening development.
Like using a crutch you don't always need.
Exactly. And of course, there are tons of apps and websites specifically designed for exam practice, IELTS, TOEFL, PT, often with timed exercises, which leads us nicely into simulation.
Right. Because when you're practicing, you don't need to understand every single word, do you? It's more about zeroing in on the important stuff.
Precisely. It's about targeted listening, filtering the key information from everything else.
So what should we be listening for specifically?
You definitely want to be alert for specific details like numbers, dates, times, names of people, names of places. Those are often answers.
Okay, the concrete facts.
Yes. But also, listen for signal words. Contrast words like however, but, on the other hand.
Because they signal a change in direction or an opposing idea.
Exactly. And cause and effect words because, so, therefore, as a result, they signal reasons or consequences.
They're like signposts in the conversation pointing towards important information.
They really are. Training yourself to catch these cues can make a huge difference in finding the answers quickly and accurately.
Okay, this is crucial. Let's talk about practicing under exam conditions. Because just pausing and rewinding whenever you get stuck, That's not how the real test works, is it?
Not at all. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes learners make in their prep, practicing with a safety net you won't have on test day.
So how do we simulate the real pressure at home?
Rule number 1, play the recording only once. No repeats, just like the real exam.
Ouch. That sounds tough.
It is at first, but it forces your brain to process in real time. Second, don't stop if you miss something. Keep going. Train yourself to move on and focus on the next question.
Avoid getting bogged down.
Yes. Third, practice writing your answers while you're listening or immediately after a section finishes, not waiting until the very end. Get used to that multitasking.
Okay, and finally, do full listening sections under timed conditions. Set a timer and stick to it. This builds stamina and reduces the shock factor on exam day.
Building that mental endurance, that's really key, especially as these listening tests can be quite long, right? Like 30, 40 minutes sometimes.
They can be, yes.
Yeah.
And maintaining focus for that long is a skill in itself. Concentration can definitely dip.
So how do we boost concentration and stamina? Any tips?
Well, it's not just about trying harder.
Yeah.
Some simple techniques can help. Short mindfulness or breathing exercises before you start a practice session can really help clear your head.
Interesting. Like prepping your brain.
Exactly. Breaking study time into focused chunks, like the Pomodoro technique, maybe 25 minutes of intense listening, then a short break can work well too.
Okay.
And the obvious, but essential stuff. Minimize distractions. Phone off, quiet room if possible, and gradually increase how long you practice listening in one go. Build up that endurance over time. Like training for any endurance event. Makes perfect sense. Now, during that focused listening, note-taking is vital, but you can't write everything down. How do you take effective notes quickly?
The goal is fast and meaningful. Use abbreviations everyone understands, or ones you create for yourself, like GOV for government, info for information, diff for different.
Okay, personal shorthand.
Yes, and symbols can be great too. Arrows for increase or decrease, or cause and effect. Anything that saves time but captures the meaning for you.
And you need to be able to understand your own notes later.
Absolutely. Practice turning your quick notes back into full ideas or sentences right after listening. That helps you check if your system works.
Good tip. Okay, one last big area. Vocabulary. Even if your grammar is good, unfamiliar words can stop you dead in your tracks when listening. How do we build listening vocabulary effectively?
It's a huge factor. One really good strategy is to create word lists from the listening practice you're already doing. When you check a transcript, pull out the words you didn't know.
So you're learning words in context, words you actually encountered.
Exactly. It's much more targeted than just memorizing random lists. Focus on words common in academic settings if you're taking an academic test.
Like words related to research, environment, society.
Precisely. Also, pay attention to pronunciation variations, how words get linked together, or reduced in fast speech, like going to becoming gonna. Recognizing these helps a lot.
Yeah, understanding connected speech is key.
And learn collocations, words that often go together, like make a decision, conduct research, take notes. Recognizing these chunks speeds up processing.
So building vocabulary isn't just about single words, but also how they combine.
Definitely. It makes your recognition much faster.
This has been incredibly insightful, so many strategies. But maybe the most powerful thing is making listening practice just part of your daily routine. Not a chore, but a habit.
Absolutely. You don't need huge blocks of time every single day. Little and often can be incredibly effective. Turn dead time into listening time.
Like what kind of moments?
Your commute, listen to an English podcast or news headlines. While you're cooking or cleaning, put on an English radio show or audiobook. Even just 5 or 10 minutes adds up.
That sounds manageable.
You can also try shadowing repeating phrases you hear right after the speaker. It's great for pronunciation and reinforces listening. Or even record yourself quickly summarizing something you just heard.
Making it active, even in short bursts.
Exactly. These small, consistent habits integrate English into your life, make practice feel natural, and build your skills significantly over time.
So wrapping this all up for you, our listener, what we've seen is that mastering English listening is really about being active, not passive.
It's about deliberately training your ear with different accents, different types of real-world material.
Practicing smart, using tools effectively, and definitely simulating exam conditions.
And weaving it all into your daily life, making it a sustainable habit.
And if you do these things, you're not just prepping for an exam score, are you?
Not at all. You're becoming a more confident, more capable communicator in English for any situation life throws at you. It really is a foundational skill.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about your day. Where are those little pockets of time you could use for listening practice?
Even 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
What one small new listening habit could you start today that might just kickstart a real transformation in your English journey? Something to think about.
Definitely. Keep practicing and good luck.